to receive the key to the city. It's all happening right now. Tina.
Hello there, Bianca. Gotham FC celebrated today as champions of the NWSL. This confetti just fell moments ago, and I want to take a quick look behind me as the team is just leaving the stairs here at City Hall as the 2025 NWSL champions. Gotham FC was celebrated here tonight, or earlier today. Bianca, they are underdogs no more. That was sort of the underwritten story of this Gotham FC soccer team because they enter the NWSL playoffs as the 8th seed, but today they were celebrated as champions of the NWSL for the second time in 3 seasons. They're known as the Bats, and New York City put out their bat signal in need of a championship team, and Gotham FC answered, bringing the trophy back to the Big Apple, held in the hands of Captain Mandy Freeman as she stood atop of the first of 2 iconic double-decker buses holding the 24 members of Gotham FC, their coaches and staff. Now, the players wore their championship medals. They danced, they waved for their fans and supporters along the parade route, and one of those fans, by the way, was Mrs. Met. The buses traveled 5 blocks up Broadway under the confetti and cheers, and then they turned down Chambers Street, taking them to City Hall here, where the Gotham Heroes were honored with keys to the city. And after a season where they were plagued with injuries and setbacks, this resilient team made up of elite soccer players from all over the world, well, they overcame it all. So as you can imagine, emotions were high as Fox 5 even had a chance to talk to standout rookie Sarah Shapansky before she was able to board the bus and make her way to the ceremony here at City Hall.
I mean, it's still surreal. Like, every morning I wake up and I have to make sure the medal is still there because it's just too unbelievable. But I'm just so incredibly proud of the team. You know, we worked so hard all year, faced so much adversity, so to be able to walk away with the medal is really special.
Well, the motto for this Gotham FC team all season long was always building, never finish. And they believe that gave them the mindset to overcome so many obstacles to end up on top as the champions of the NWSL. And again, for the second time in 3 seasons. Bianca, it was just a wonderful celebration today for these female athletes. Everyone watches women's sports. And let me tell you something, here in New York City, the women's sports teams rule. For 3 years in a row now, we have celebrated in 2023, Gotham FC winning their championship. In 2024, the New York Liberty winning the WNBA championship. And here we are once again in 2025 as we take a look at the team gathering once again, celebrating a women's professional sports team representing New York City as Gotham FC crown the NWSL champions once again. Reporting live at City Hall, Tina Servasio for the Noon. Bianca, back to you in the studio.
Oh, so fun. Big congrats to them. They put every other male athlete in New York City on notice, as they should. All right, some more breaking news now for you. The Giants have fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. This comes on the heels of another collapse yesterday when the Giants lost 34-27 to the Detroit Lions. That brought the team to just 2-10 on the season. Bowens was just hired back in 2024. It's not the first staffing shakeup for the Big Blue. The team fired head coach Brian Dable just 2 weeks ago. Let's turn on to weather to see what's in store for us this afternoon. Let's bring meteorologist Audrey Puente at the Weather Center taking a live look outside there. A beautiful sunshiny day, obviously cold, but definitely fun for a parade, Audrey.
Yes, you know, the weather couldn't have been any better. Well, it could have been a little warmer, right? But however, it's going to be a beautiful sun-filled day. As you mentioned, Bianca, we do have a little bit of a breeze out there, and it is adding to the chill and the shade today. But when it's not windy, it does feel pretty decent out there. We're going to stay dry for today. Rain returns to the Tri-State area as we go into tomorrow. Temperatures are slowly going to rise up the thermometer. We're closing in on 60 by the middle part of the week, and enjoy it while it lasts because it's going to turn much colder as we go into Thanksgiving. So right now we're sitting with plenty of sunshine, which has brought us up to 50 degrees in Central Park, LaGuardia, and Atlantic City checking in at 53, 48 right now in East Hampton, and we're in the 40s out across parts of the Northeast here. Looking at the radar, though, shows that things are nice and dry. We're going to stay that way for the rest of the day here on Monday. We'll be mostly clear, too. And then tonight, the clouds will be on the increase. They're coming in advance of our next rainmaker, which will affect the region tomorrow. I think tomorrow will start out dry with lots of clouds, and then after about lunchtime, we'll start to see rain begin to creep in from the west. So it's going to be a wet afternoon for Tuesday. If you have any travel plans on Tuesday, you might want to factor that in. But today will be dry and sunny with temperatures mostly in the 50s. Tonight will only be in the 40s, and tomorrow we're going to be even milder and close to 60 on Wednesday. I'll have the details coming up. Bianca?
All right, Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, this now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will be at Newark Airport this afternoon to give an update on the holiday travel season, even though the government shutdown is over. The FAA is continuing to limit flights at Newark to alleviate air traffic controller staffing shortages there. Meanwhile, the FAA says it is preparing for its busiest Thanksgiving week in 15 years. Now, according to AAA, 6 million travelers are expected to take domestic flights over the holiday weekend. That is a 2% increase compared to last year. The Sunday after Thanksgiving projected to be the busiest day to fly.
I've been traveling this whole time because I take a lot of flights. So really it's just making sure I get to the airport in time to beat the line.
We had a nice flight, a nice landing. Everything went good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad today. We weren't delayed. Going out, we're delayed a little bit, maybe half an hour, but it wasn't bad.
So if you are traveling by car, AAA expects 1.3 million more travelers to be on the roads this year compared to last year. And some developing news now. Reggae pioneer Jimmy Cliff has died. His family posted a message on Instagram today saying he died from a seizure following by pneumonia. The 81-year-old performer was a mainstay on the Jamaican music scene and starred in the classic film The Harder They Come. The film soundtrack helped launch reggae worldwide. Cliff was nominated for 7 Grammys and won 2 in his lifetime. He was only one of Jamaica's 2 to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, besides legend Bob Marley. All right, to this now, the NBA coach accused of being involved in rigged poker games with the Mafia appears in court today. Next at noon, details on today's court hearing and the charges against Chauncey Billups. Plus, what Mayor-elect Mamdani is saying following his high-stakes meeting with the president Friday and what is on his schedule today. Well, developing at noon now, Portland Trailblazers coach and former Knick Chauncey Billups pleading not guilty to charges that he profited from rigged poker games, allegedly tied to the mafia. The Basketball Hall of Famer appearing in Brooklyn federal court this morning. He was arraigned on money laundering and wire fraud conspiracy charges. Now, both carry a maximum punishment of 20 years in prison. He's among 31 defendants accused of participating in illegal gambling in that scheme. Meanwhile, the political world is still talking about Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's monumental visit to the White House on Friday. Antoine Lewis is here with that and an expected announcement from the mayor-elect today. Antoine.
Absolutely, Bianca. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. The mayor-elect is expected to make an announcement associated with his transition to City Hall this afternoon. This coming after a very busy weekend, which began on Friday with that meeting with the president. A meeting that for anyone who was looking for drama at the White House last Friday is still looking, because there was none. It was all handshakes and smiles in the Oval Office, as both Mamdani and Trump described their meeting as cordial and insightful. Now, Mamdani attended church services yesterday at Union Grove Missionary Baptist in the Cortona Park section of the Bronx. Afterwards, he talked more about that meeting and just how he envisions the City Hall in specific, working with the White House.
I'm confident that we're establishing a productive relationship. I think it was New Yorkers that won in this conversation.
Now, the two also discussed the controversial topic of deploying National Guard's troops to New York, a repeated threat the president has made. Listen.
Right now, other places need it more, but if they need it, I would do it.
I made it very clear what we wanted to do was to deliver public safety and affordability, and the NYPD would be the ones to do so.
Mamdani also stood by his earlier comments of calling Trump a fascist, which Trump didn't appear to mind or have a problem with. The mayor-elect will be in East Harlem in just a little while, making an announcement connected with his transition team. We have a crew that will be there. That's supposed to happen sometime around 2 o'clock. That's the latest.
Going to be on top of that one, Antoine. Thanks so much.
All right.
Meanwhile, peace talks to end the war between Russia and Ukraine could finally be making some progress. Coming up, where the negotiations are now standing and the issues that could stand in the way of this deal. Plus, the Trump administration hitting back at criticism over tariffs, what they say is really driving prices up.
Why quits?
Welcome back. After giving Ukraine a Thanksgiving deadline to accept a peace deal, President Trump posted a cryptic message on Truth Social this morning. Take a look at this, saying, quote, It is really possible that big progress is being made in peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. Don't believe it until you see it, but something good just may be happening. Trump's original plan would reportedly require Ukraine to give up more territory to Russia, grant amnesty to Russians accused of war crimes, and then agree never to join NATO. Ukrainian officials are pushing to remove those provisions.
This initial plan would be a total capitulation by Ukraine. I think it would go down, frankly, as a historically bad deal.
We will continue explaining how dangerous it is to pretend that aggression is something one can simply overlook and move on.
Well, Russian officials say many aspects of the plan are acceptable for the Kremlin, but others still need more detailed discussion, including possible security guarantees for Ukraine. And to this now, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro dancing to his no war, yes peace speech as the Trump administration ramps up its war on narco terrorists. The State Department is now designating a cartel linked to Maduro as a foreign terrorist organization, opening up the door for possible strikes in Venezuela. According to Reuters report, the U.S. is ready to launch its next phase of military operations that would likely begin with covert action inside of Venezuela. Meanwhile, with the trade deal in place with China, the Trump administration is turning its attention to the European Union. That is where talks to finalize a new agreement are stalling. Fox's William Lejeunesse has more.
We're giving them offers of how it can take care of them, but they've got to take care of us.
American and European officials are meeting in Brussels, trying to hammer out details of a new trade deal first agreed to back in July. But major sticking points remain, including European demands for tariff relief on wine and farm products, while the U.S. pushes for more access to EU markets.
We can extend and grow the deal and make it better and help Europe on all the areas that they're interested in.
Both sides say they're willing to make a deal, but time could be running out. President Trump is reportedly growing impatient with the progress.
U.S. and Europe will lose a lot if we do not, combine forces.
Meanwhile, back home, the president predicts a sharp increase in tariff revenue in the coming months as companies run low on goods bought before the tariffs kicked in, meaning all new imports will be subject to the higher tariffs. Democrats say the tariffs are fueling a growing affordability crisis.
The Trump tariffs are crushing everyday Americans.
The White House pushing back, claiming tariffs are not causing prices to go up.
Inflation is up because of the service economy and services, so that has nothing to do with tariffs.
A Fox News poll released last week found that 35% of voters approve how the president is handling the tariff war. In London, William Lejeunesse, Fox 5 News.
Well, Governor Hochul was in the Bronx this morning to announce funding for a new birthing center. The center would serve new and expectant mothers. The state has freed up $5 million in funding to open the birthing center, which has been a priority of the borough president, Vanessa Gibson.
Talk about a topic that today we take a giant step forward in our collective work to address maternal mortality and morbidity, to stand up for so many of our mothers here in the borough. Knowing the statistics, knowing the data, knowing that the disproportionate impact of Black and Latino women that are facing pregnancy-related complications due to insufficient health care. We believe in birthing.
Well, the governor says the state is pushing to open more birthing centers and promote maternal health and offer financial support to families in the form of tax credits for young families and an $1,800 baby benefit. That is for low-income families with newborns. Let's turn now to weather to see what's in store for us this afternoon on this Monday. Taking a live look outside right now. It's clear. It's just cold. But meteorologist Audrey Puente is at the Weather Center with more on this one. Audrey, I didn't think it was that bad today, though.
Yeah, it's not as biting as it has been, Bianca, for sure. And temperatures are slowly going to rise up the thermometer. It's going to feel pretty mild over the next couple of days. Right now, we're already at 50 degrees in Central Park. It's 52 for you in Islip. East Hampton checking in at 48 degrees. We're in the 50s in Belmar, Newark, and over towards Trenton. And even up in the Hudson Valley, feeling pretty good in Poughkeepsie where the temperature's at 50. And all of these temperatures are milder than they were at this time yesterday. And we're slowly going to see these numbers kind of increase as we go into tomorrow and even into Wednesday, too. Wind speeds, they're getting our attention just a bit here, especially in the shade. It's a cool breeze coming in across the region here, and we do have wind gusts up to about 20 miles per hour, even greater in Islip, where it's 23, 21 miles per hour in Sussex, 18 in Bridgeport, 13 over in Monticello. So it will be a breezy day. The winds will slacken off later tonight. It's also going to be a dry day. You saw from that sky cam shot that we have plenty of sunshine and blue skies, and that will continue to be the trend throughout your Monday here. Most of the Northeast is experiencing the same tranquil and nice weather pattern, with temperatures a little bit above normal for this time of year for the afternoon highs. We're watching a couple of areas of low pressure. One is working towards the northern plain states. One is coming out of the Midwest here, or rather the southeastern or southern states. These two will head eastward and bring us the threat of rain as we go into Tuesday and even into Wednesday as well. But out ahead of that system, it's very mild along the Gulf Coast states, and that warm weather pattern is actually creeping a little bit northward here. Chicago's now at 50. We're at 57 in D.C. here, and that weather is going to creep right into the Northeast here, and that's why our highs are going to be close to 60 or greater as we go into Wednesday. But in the meantime, for today, we're going to lock it down at 52 degrees later this afternoon with plenty of sunshine. A little bit of a breeze coming in, gusting to 20 miles per hour, so that'll give you a little chill in the shade. Tonight, we drop down to only 40 with a southwest wind. Our temperatures are going to rise nicely as we go into tomorrow. We're looking at a high of 56, and then we're going for 64 on Wednesday. Enjoy it while it lasts, because on Thursday, we take a big drop. Our highs will only be in the 40s on Thanksgiving. Factor in a blustery wind too, and it will be a cold day. Friday, it looks like we'll have some flurries off to the north. Temperature about 43, still windy, and then the winds lighten up over the weekend, but the cold remains. Our highs will be in the 40s right through Sunday. Bianca, over to you.
All right, looking forward to that one, Audrey. Thanks so much. Well, next at noon, how long would you be willing to wait for a great meal? Coming up, a new survey is looking at how patient New Yorkers are when it comes to snagging a table at a restaurant. Well, retirement account balances hit record highs in the third quarter of 2025. The new report by Fidelity Investments found the average 401k balance increased by 9% from last year to more than $144,000. That is an all-time high. The average individual retirement account balance jumped 7% since last year to nearly $138,000. Fidelity's report also said younger people are showing more interest in these types of accounts and saving for the future. And some retail sales data shows holiday shopping is already well underway. A Wall Street Journal report reveals that some retailers are doing good business despite worries over tariff added costs and uncertainties about the economy. The report notes that Walmart, The Gap, TJ Maxx, they are still seeing solid results heading into the end of the year when retailers count big on holiday shopping and spending for their final results. According to the Journal, the key is whether consumers feel like they are getting good value for what they buy. And many of us on multiple social media platforms, but which ones did Americans use the most this year? Guess this. The Pew Research Center surveyed just over 5,000 adults. They found that YouTube was actually the most used social media platform in 2025, with 84% of respondents saying they used it. Facebook came in second, followed by Instagram. 52% of adults say they log onto Facebook daily, while 48% say they use YouTube every day, and only 21% said they use X. The study also found that TikTok is the most popular platform among 18 to 29-year-olds. All right, it may take a while to get a table at some city restaurants, but it looks like some New Yorkers do not really mind the wait. That's the longest in the U.S. by far, with people in Los Angeles willing to wait an average of 44 minutes, and Miami and Chicago residents tying for 35 minutes. The report says part of the reason for this is an increase in demand as overall dining in the U.S. has increased by 8% year over year. Meanwhile, next at noon, AI seems to have a hand in everything these days, including weather forecasting. But how accurate is it? Audrey Puente has the answer, and of course, a look at the forecasts. And we're talking with Good Morning Football Overtime about the Jets and Giants' disappointing losses over the weekend. Stay tuned for that.
New York City is delivering for you every day, everywhere. Major crime is down citywide. A record number of new homes have been created, and a brand new universal after-school program is available for our kids. With safer streets and thriving small businesses, NYC is delivering for families, making this the best place to raise yours. Find out more at deliveringforyou.nyc.
All right, it is 12:30 right now. Welcome back to the Noon. We got a whole lot more coming up here, starting with this. He's been a Hollywood legend for decades with iconic films and TV roles in classics like Taxi, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Twins, and Matilda. Actor and New Jersey native Danny DeVito sits down with our Ryan Christopher. Plus, we are doing some Monday morning quarterbacking with Sherry Burris from Good Morning Football Overtime. It's a little tough for the Jets and the Giants these days. We're going to talk about it, but let's get another live look outside on this Monday. Look at this. It's a stunning, beautiful day out there. Obviously, a little bit chilly, but hey, could not be better than this. Let's turn things over to Audrey Puente at the Weather Center for the full forecast. I mean, when it's clear and it's sunny out and the sky is blue, we can't complain.
All is good. All is a nice start to the week, Bianca, for sure. It's bright and beautiful outside, and temperatures are actually pretty decent. We're already at 50 degrees in Central Park. We're even faring better in Philadelphia and Atlantic City, both checking in at 53. We've now hit 50 in Providence. We're in the 40s throughout the rest of New England, and overall, it's going to be a quiet weather pattern for much of the Northeast today. We're under the influence of high pressure, which is bringing us this dry and calm start to the week here. And then our eyes will turn to the west. That's where we have a couple of areas of low pressure that'll be working eastward, giving us a threat of precipitation starting tomorrow afternoon. Here it plays out on our futurecast at the moment. We're going to stay nice and dry for the rest of the day with plenty of sunshine. As the high slides to the east, it's going to allow clouds to creep in here starting late tonight. So overnight, we'll have increasing clouds, and tomorrow you'll wake up with mostly cloudy conditions. I think we'll start off dry, but by lunchtime, there could be a chance of a quick passing shower. But it's really after about 1 or 2 o'clock where we'll start to see kind of a steady rainfall coming in from the west, and it will be here right through the evening commute. So if you do have travel plans tomorrow or will be commuting, you will encounter some wet roadways across the region, so plan accordingly. The rain kind of exits the coast here after about 9 or 10 o'clock. We still have a couple of chances of showers overnight, and then Wednesday morning we'll start out with lots of clouds. The clouds will stay with us through the day, but not so much the rainfall. We'll have a couple of rounds of rain coming through, just some scattered showers rolling through from time to time. We could see some brightening in the skies here and there, but overall it's going to be mostly cloudy, and a chance of showers will continue through the afternoon, but those will clear out by Wednesday night, allowing for a drier Thursday, which is on Thanksgiving too. Now, if you're planning travel this week, today and then Thanksgiving Thursday through Sunday will be the best travel days as far as the weather is concerned. The worst travel window I'm picking out is probably between 2 and 10 o'clock tomorrow, because that's when we'll see that rainfall coming through. Now, it's not a major storm system. Fortunately for us, we don't expect any major storms for the rest of the week, so travel should not be too much of a problem, again, as far as the weather is concerned. So today we're looking at highs mostly in the 50s along the coast, 40s inland with plenty of sunshine, and then tonight increasing clouds will drop down to 40 in the city, 30s in some of the suburbs, and then we're going to warm it up from there. 56 for the high tomorrow, 64 on Wednesday. That sounds nice. Enjoy it while it lasts, because on Thanksgiving Thursday the temperatures take a big drop. Our highs will only be in the mid-40s and stay in the 40s right through the rest of the holiday weekend. Bianca, over to you.
All right, Audrey, before you go, I do know that you're taking a deep dive into the world of AI, I know, which we both use, but how it's used in forecasting. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, it's actually gained a lot of attention during this hurricane season because it did prove some of the AI weather models to be just a little bit more accurate than our traditional models. Wow. So I did take a deep dive. Here, take a look.
Artificial intelligence is no longer just writing emails or helping you pick a playlist. It is now helping meteorologists analyze patterns, predict storms sooner, and improve the accuracy of the forecasts we all depend on. To understand how it works, I spoke with Professor Dale Duran from the University of Washington, one of the country's leading experts in atmospheric sciences. He studies how AI compares to the traditional forecast models we've used for decades.
The model has been trained on data that we've collected over a period of several decades, and the European Center for Medium Range Forecasting has done a great job making a data set that we can use to train models directly by feeding it the data and having it figure out forecasts just by ensuring that each data set for each day gives you the best forecast for the next day and the next day and the next day.
Duran says once these AI models are trained, they can produce forecasts far faster, sometimes even more accurately than the systems that solve millions of physics equations each day.
If you just take this approach of feeding the data in and then evaluating the quality of the forecast in some sort of holistic sense, it can give you a better result.
He says that accuracy showed up during this year's hurricane season when AI models correctly predicted the strength and track of storms days in advance.
I looked at its forecast for the position and intensity of Melissa at 4-day lead times, and then compare where it did wind up and compare the forecasts from the AI model and the old style IFS model. The AI model was actually better.
Dr. Amy McGovern is a professor at the University of Oklahoma and director of the National Science Foundation's AI Institute for Research on Trustworthy AI in Weather and Climate. Her team is helping NOAA test these new tools in real-world forecasting.
The European model has an AI model that is completely operational, and they're using it to look for large-scale trends. There's another global AI model that people are using inside NOAA to test operationally, that is the Google DeepMind model that is looking at hurricane forecasting, and it's shown a tremendous amount of promise for predicting hurricanes and tropical cyclones worldwide, a few days ahead of what the global models are doing.
She says the same model impressed forecasters during Hurricane Melissa, predicting its strength and track long before other models did. But both scientists warn AI isn't magic and it's not perfect.
If it's never seen an event before, it's probably not going to get that event correct. The other limitation I would add to that is that it can be very confidently wrong.
And this is just one of the hot topics Nick, Mike, Liv, and I are covering in our Weather Extreme special. You can watch it later this week on Fox 5, My 9, and streaming in the free Fox local app.
Pretty incredible. I feel like everyone's using AI these days, and obviously we can use it for good or, you know, for not so good, but in this case, it helps.
Yeah, it actually, it's a great enhancement to the forecasting that we were already doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Audrey, thanks so much. Meanwhile, it was not a good weekend for football fans in the Tri-State. Next at noon, we're going to talk with Good Morning Football Overtime about the Jets and Giants' disappointing losses. Plus, we're sitting down with legendary actor Danny DeVito and reflecting on his New Jersey roots.
Need law.
Oh boy, yesterday the Jets fell to the Ravens on the road and the Giants suffered a disappointing loss in overtime to the Lions. But joining us now to tell us more about both games is Sherry Barris, co-host of Good Morning Football Overtime on our sister station and network My 9. Sherry, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good to see you, Bianca. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start with the Giants, though, because they actually look good for most of the game, and then they just said, just kidding, in overtime. But at this point, is blowing late leads like their football love language?
Yeah, you would think so. It was such an incredible game. You're watching this and you're thinking, man, they're really hanging with a team like the Lions. Wow, they're beating a team like the Lions. But in true fashion, it went to an incredible overtime and they fell in the game. And it's just, they're a team you want to root for, Bianca, but it's been so difficult that they've been dealing with so many injuries. Jackson Dart being out, Cam Scatterbo done for the season with that leg injury. But Jameis Winston has been so much fun to watch. There has been, moving parts for this. The Giants just firing their defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, earlier today. So they're still trying to tinker. It's start of week 13. So it's a work in progress still this late in the season.
I was going to ask you about that, about firing the defensive coordinator. Was this just something you thought was inevitable?
I think so. Unfortunately, they already got rid of head coach Brian Daboll, so you knew there could be more changes with Mike Kafka taking over as that interim role. And I think what really led to the fact that they had to make this decision was how many blown leads that we have seen from this Giants team. You sort of talked about it with having a lead on the Lions, but there have been 5 double-digit blown leads from the Giants. No team has more than 2. So you knew there had to be some sort of change to try to spark this team and not let that keep happening.
Yeah, certainly frustrating, especially watching all the way up to the fourth quarter. Okay, you mentioned the QBs, and I wanted to touch on this a bit. Jameis mentoring Jackson Dart. I feel like this just gives fun uncle coaching you through life at Thanksgiving kind of energy. But how real is this dynamic, and is it actually helping Dart play better?
I think so, and that is a perfect way to describe it. Jameis Winston is a 10-year veteran. If we remember back, he even won the Heisman. So he certainly has enough experience and has seen a lot of football to, A, be taken seriously in his role, that his energy is just so infectious. Every time we have spoken with a former teammate of his, they rave about him. They love his leadership. They love his leadership style, his play. So I think there's a lot that Jackson Dart can take from a guy like Winston in the way he leads and in the way he plays, that he certainly can put his arm around and be like, all right, young buck, let me show you how to do this, and be that kind of leader he might need.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a fun personality. Okay, before you go, unfortunately, we do have to touch on the Jets here. I mean, do they even bother watching Patriots film anymore? They've just accepted the fact that we already know how this is going to end.
Yeah, it's a tough watch for the Jets, but I love what Aaron Glenn actually has been doing. It seems like he still has this optimism. He's not getting down on the team. They have had their struggles, right? They did have a lead, though, at halftime in this game, the first time since the first week against the Steelers. Hard to think back that far, but I think there's pieces in place for them to be successful. It is a tough watch. I know this is not news to Jets fans, but I'd like to think that this is still just Coach Glenn's first year, and there are pieces he's putting in place and cultural pieces that might be happening behind closed doors that we aren't seeing. Particularly that, we're seeing the highlights here. They're facing a really banged up Ravens team that also has been dealing with their own struggles, that 1-5 start. So it looked like on paper this could have been a really good game for the Jets to kind of get back in their rhythm. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But Bianca, I think this is laying some groundwork for hopefully success in the future for the Jets.
On paper, doesn't always get you to the Super Bowl. But, we'll keep our fingers crossed for both teams, especially for our New York fans. Sherry, thank you so much. And again, she is co-host of Good Morning Football Overtime on our sister network, My 9. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, we got more noon straight ahead. Stay with us.
Fox.
Well, over the weekend, the 2025 New Jersey Hall of Fame induction ceremony took place inside of American Dream, and Fox 5's Ryan Christopher spoke with the host of the ceremony, legendary actor, director, and producer from Asbury Park, Danny DeVito.
Your parents are from New Jersey,
yeah,
right?
My dad's from Jersey. There you go.
New Jersey blood.
We got the Jersey ties, baby.
Yeah.
So what does Jersey mean to you? I mean,
well, it's a lot. It means a lot to me. Jersey is like, I'm born in Asbury, and I lived there until I was about 17, 18. Went to New York to become an actor. Big thing, like crazy, but Asbury was like always the, the jewel. It was really great. My mom was born there. My father's from Brooklyn, and we have two sisters that were, we all went to Asbury High School and for a bit, and it's a great place to live.
Yeah.
In summer, it was like full of tourists.
Yeah.
Just churned it up and crazy, and and then in the winter it was like
dead, right? Yeah, right.
Just like you could get a parking spot anywhere you wanted.
Sure.
But really beautiful.
When I told people that I was going to be chatting with you, all people wanted to hear about was Jersey Mike's.
Oh yeah, the sandwiches.
Yeah. So
the subs, the Jersey Mike's.
So do you remember the original Jersey Mike's?
Look, Peter Cankro, who started it, who took it over from the actual Jersey Mike, right? That store was in Point Pleasant, so I lived in Asbury. So I'm sure, that sometime during the rollback and forth, we crossed paths.
No doubt.
But then a few years ago, when they called me, I thought it was like, I'm gonna look into these people because this seems like a perfect fit for me.
Yeah.
And I do love subs.
Yeah.
And Jersey Mike's are the best.
No, I mean,
absolutely. My mouth is watering.
Right.
I like to bite into a number 13 right now.
Somebody get this guy number 13. It's Danny DeVito.
Hey, baby, come on.
You want some Jersey Mike's? Come on.
Come on, Ryan. Use your juice, baby.
I don't have that kind of pull around
Mike's
here.
way. You got to do it with the juice, baby.
I want the Mike's way. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Do you think we could ever bring that show to Jersey?
Oh, sure.
And would it always be sunny, or would it be partly cloudy?
Always sunny in New Jersey. Well, I mean, like, we could bring the show to Jersey. We did a thing once. Charlie wrote it, The Night Man Cometh once. It was a musical. We all did. I played a troll.
Wow.
And, you remember that show?
Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, we did. We took that on the road one time, as crazy people do. And we had a lot of fun doing that. Sure, you could do that down at the Convention Hall in Asbury.
Talk to me about your early days, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually went to cosmetology school?
Yes, on Cookman Avenue.
Wow. How about that? What inspired that?
My sister Angie had a beauty parlor, and she was trying to give me a job, and she paid for the school and sent me in, and it was like it was amazing. I didn't know what to expect. I dragged my feet all the way there.
Yeah.
And then the first day I got there, I went up to the school and opened the door, and there were 35 young women in there.
Wow.
I said, I think I went down and I called her up. I said, Andrew, I'm indebted to you for the rest of my life.
That sounds like the best day of your life,
It
Danny.
was good. It was one of them, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about film in New Jersey. We just heard about at Fort Monmouth, Netflix is building this billion-dollar studio, right?
Yeah,
so
that's good.
What are your thoughts on that, bringing production here?
It's good for jobs. Carpenters, electricians, grip, all kinds of camera people, whatever, and if you're into and there are a lot of people who are in the business who are aspiring filmmakers, young people.
Yeah.
They have PAs, they have grips, they have assistants.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great industry there. If it works out, it'd be really great for New Jersey.
Beautiful.
I'm happy to hear it.
And how about here tonight at the New Jersey Hall of Fame? You got Bon Jovi, the Jonas Brothers, the list goes on and on. Is there somebody that you're excited to meet that you haven't met yet?
Well, I've known the Jonas Brothers for a long time, and Bon Jovi as well. I met him back in in the 80s. He came to see, I had a movie that I directed called Throw Mama from the Train, and we premiered in Asbury, and John came.
That's so
and
cool.
It was really great to have him there. And I'm very excited for Dorothea, his wife.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to tonight. In terms of the Jonas Brothers, they're just giving and caring people. They're a great band, and they're wonderful folks. I've known them for many years.
Would you ever join them on stage?
We did. I don't think you'd want to hear that.
I think we would.
The idea is that I'll be there for them.
Yeah.
And Nick and I do the Jumanji movie.
Yes. Oh my God.
So we're going to do another one.
So Jumanji 3.
Yeah, we're going to do another. Nick's in it.
Have you wrapped production yet?
No, we haven't started.
You haven't started?
Wow. They just started now.
Beautiful.
That's why I'm growing the grandpa
I
beard.
like it. I like it. It looks good. Well, I
Yeah.
can't wait for that. The third installment. It's going to be
Yeah, it's gonna be
excellent.
exciting.
So congratulations on that,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Danny DeVito.
Hey, man.
A legend.
Pleasure.
I appreciate your
Pleasure
time.
talking with you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
What an absolute legend there. Right next at noon, a blockbuster weekend for Wicked for Good. We're going to tell you how much the sequel raked in at the box office as we check entertainment headlines. Well, Wicked for Good set some new records in its opening week, and it earned $150 million at the domestic box office and $226 million worldwide. That tops the movie's first installment, which opened with $112 million. The sequel stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Women made up 71% of the audiences, according to post-track exit polls. Second place went to Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and Predator Badlands was in third place. Meanwhile, some good news for Billie Eilish fans. Paramount setting a release date for the 3D concert film of her Hit Me Hard and Soft tour. It'll hit theaters on March 20th, 2026. Eilish announced the news on social media during the final night of her sold-out tour in San Francisco, and she also co-directed the film with James Cameron. Pretty incredible. All right, greeting card shops aren't as easy to find as they used to be. We're going to show you the new ball to ring in the new year as well. Stay tuned for this. Welcome back. Some breaking news. A judge has dismissed criminal cases against James Comey and Letitia James after finding the prosecutor was illegally appointed. That prosecutor was Lindsay Halligan, who was appointed by Attorney General Pam Bondi after President Trump urged her to do so. Halligan is a former Trump lawyer with no previous experience as a federal litigator. Former FBI Director James Comey had faced charges of obstructing Congress, while Letitia James had been charged with mortgage fraud. Well, let's get a final check of the forecast now with Audrey Puente. Hey, Audrey.
Hi there, Bianca. Well, let's talk about the travel that everyone will be doing this week for Thanksgiving holiday. The best travel days as far as the weather is concerned will likely be today, Thanksgiving Day, right through Sunday. We're expecting the quietest and most tranquil weather patterns on those days. Now, we're anticipating rain for Tuesday, so I put up a window here of the worst travel time. That would probably be between 2 and 10 o'clock tomorrow, as that's when we'll have steady rainfall passing through the area. Now, no major storm systems are in sight here for the rest of the week, which is good news for everyone that will be traveling for the holiday. All right, looking at our high temperatures for today, we're looking in the 50s along the coast, 40s further inland like in White Plains, and then tonight we'll have increasing clouds with lows dropping down into the 30s to about 40 degrees in the city. Those clouds are coming in advance of the rain that will be here by probably early afternoon tomorrow, and you can expect rain until the evening. It will taper off before midnight. Some showers likely on Wednesday, lots of clouds in place, but not as much rainfall as tomorrow. Something to be aware of, a high will be about 64 degrees, so that'll feel nice. Turns drier and much colder on Thursday. Thanksgiving will be chilly. That high of 45 will feel like 35 because of a gusty wind. Bianca, over to you.
Preparing to bundle up. Audrey, thanks so much. Well, that's our show, but before we go, here's one last thing to leave you with. We are getting a first look at this year's ball, which will drop in Times Square on New Year's Eve. This morning, a ball raising ceremony was held at Times Square. Crews raised it 139 feet on a pole on top of the building. This year's ball, though, has been updated. As you can see, it looks a little different. It is the 9th version of the ball to be used since the ball drop tradition began in 1907. It is covered in 5,200 Waterford crystals. That's nearly double the amount of the prior ball. And for the first time, the crystals are circular, each featuring its own unique design. Quite beautiful. We'll see you tomorrow. 25 Words or Less is next. And if you want more news, tune into the Fox local streaming app, which is starting right now.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Happy Monday. This is Newsroom Live. I'm Stephanie Bertini here in the Fox 5 Newsroom, and this is the time when we bring you behind the scenes. We show you the big headlines we're working on. We show you what our newsroom is doing, what our crews are doing in the field. We're able sometimes to bring in a couple of our reporters to chat, our weather host, and we'll be doing all that today and more. But we do want to start with breaking news this afternoon. This is fresh off the press, so to speak, in the J world, the journalism journalism world. But we have a pretty big headline coming down on the wires today. A federal judge has dismissed the criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. So the information we have is that the conclusion was that the prosecutor who brought the charges of the charges at President Donald Trump's urging was illegally appointed by the Justice Department. Again, this is just coming down within the last half hour or so. The rulings from U.S. District Cameron McGowan Curry amount to a stunning rebuke of the Trump administration's effort to target Trump's political opponents, as well as its legal maneuvering to hastily install a loyalist prosecutor willing to file the cases. The orders make Lindsay Halligan, the latest Trump administrator prosecutor, to be disqualified because of the manner in which they were appointed. Again, I'm just reading this right off our news wires. So what typically happens with something like this, I mean, this is a national headline, but this very likely will get assigned to a reporter today who will then see what other details and information can be put together and then present it for our television broadcast later, which we also do stream on our website. But right now we are bringing you through Newsroom Live behind the scenes. So just showing you kind of how it all works. The information comes into the newsroom. In this case, it's a national story. Will likely make international headlines as well. We get the information from our news wires, and then we're able to figure out exactly how we want to place it in our coverage for today. Locally, we have one of our sports superstars outside. She's been outside all morning. Our Tina Servasio. Hi, Tina, bringing you in because this is a very exciting day. The Gotham FC Championship Parade. It just wrapped up because I see no one behind you. But I've been watching you online and on TV all morning. Tina, you've been busy. Hi.
Hi, Stephanie. It's so great to be with you. I'm live in front of City Hall, but guess what? All is quiet now. They even just took down all the banners. When I tell you 2 minutes ago, they still had the big Gotham, the big blue banner up that said 2025 NWSL champions, Gotham FC, and they just took it down. But I'll tell you what they still have. This is the confetti that they shot off during the ceremony here at City Hall. It's actually really hard to pick up this confetti. It's still up here on the riser where we're standing, but all of the TV crews, there was about 24 TV crews and live reporters here for the ceremony at City Hall. Everybody's gone. It is just Fox 5 for Newsroom Live. So Steph, it was so much fun. Really, everyone started gathering on Broadway around 9 a.m. this morning, and I loved it because all of the Gotham FC fans were out to see their heroes in person. And of course, Gotham is a play on the whole Batman series. New York was really named Gotham, of course, in those great comic book series, and their nicknames are the Bats. It's like their unofficial nickname. So my big theme of the day was the Big Apple. You know, Gotham put out their bat signal, and the women of Gotham FC answered. They answered the call for a championship team, and they brought home the trophy to the Big Apple. It was so great. If we have video to show everyone watching on Newsroom Live of the parade, it was amazing to be on Broadway right by City Hall, and then you saw this huge blue double-decker bus make a turn onto Broadway. There were 2 iconic New York City double-decker tour buses, and on the first bus was the entire club. It was all 24 players of Gotham FC that were part of this NWSL championship, and they were dancing. They had music. They had their phones out. They had the music that was playing, by the way, I don't know, there's got to be a story. They were playing Feliz Navidad most of the time, and I know it's the holiday season now, so maybe they were just kicking off, Christmas season. But my favorite part was on the front of the players' bus was Mandy Freeman. Mandy Freeman had on sunglasses. She had her gorgeous red hair flowing. She was wearing a fur coat on this November chilly morning, and she was holding the NWSL trophy. Mandy wore number 22. She is the captain of Gotham SC, and she has, Stephanie, really such a great story. I know a lot of people are talking about Rose Lavelle scoring the winning goal and their amazing goaltender from Germany, Ann-Katrin Berger, who had a clean sheet. She pitched a shutout, no goals allowed in order for Gotham FC to win this championship and beat the Washington Spirit on Saturday night. But Mandy Freeman has been on this team since 2017. She came on as a young teenager when the team was called Sky Blue FC. They used to practice on a high school field. They did play their games at Rutgers University. And then over time, the team was taken over by new ownership, and they were rebranded Gotham FC, and they began playing their games at Red Bull Arena, now renamed Sports Illustrated Arena. Now, during that time, she's a professional soccer player. But in 2023, for various reasons, just the way the roster panned out, she was not on the active roster for the 2023 NWSL Finals when Gotham won. So this is her second championship in 3 years. So Mandy was with the team, but not on the roster. She didn't play. She wore shorts and a t-shirt, cheered on her teammates, and it was very emotional. There were videos of her sort of crying through the whole process. Of course, it's emotional. You play hard. This is your job as a professional soccer player, and she didn't play. Last year, 2024, had to fight her way back, had limited minutes, dealt with some injuries. She fought her way all the way back to not only playing in 2025, she was named team captain, and she was a key part of that final and then winning the championship. And I don't know if they have it queued up yet, Steph, but I had a chance to talk to Mandy one-on-one for a while today. And I would love to bring that interview if we can have that now. Is that ready to go?
We're prepping that interview for you, Tina, but really quick, before we get to it, we had a little audio issue. So I saw you with the confetti. I couldn't hear you, but I was experiencing it. And I'm gonna tell you why, because even without volume, what a tremendous event. Like, honestly, so amazing. You look great, Tina. So many smiles out there. And this really is an amazing day for us in New York City.
What's so amazing about this, Stephanie, and I pointed this out a couple of times.
Right.
We have had champions in New York for 3 straight years now. Now, I know we're going through a lot. Our football teams are struggling. The Jets and Giants can't win a game. The Yankees get to the World Series, they don't win. You know, they get knocked out of the playoffs early. The Mets were the best team in baseball at one point last season, and then they don't even make the playoffs. There's been, the Knicks go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lose. They can't make it to the finals. But New York has had champions.
Right.
2023, Gotham FC wins the NWSL championship. In 2024, the New York Liberty win the WNBA championship. And here we are again, another women's professional team from New York City winning their championship, Gotham FC, their second trophy in 3 years. So, you know, that's what's been so exciting about this. And 20 years ago, there weren't parades for women's sports teams when they won championships.
Right.
There was a story I told with Dan Bowens earlier this morning during the parade. And April Heinrichs was the head coach for a while of the U.S. women's national team. Before that, I knew her at the University of Maryland.
Right.
She was the head coach of the women's team there. She played on the national team. She was like Mia Hamm or Alex Morgan or Megan Rapinoe before a lot of them were even born. And they won, the United States won the Women's World Cup. In 1991, they beat China. Nobody even knew. Like, there weren't even articles about it. They had to take separate flights home and coach to get back to the U.S., and nobody was waiting for them at the airport. And here now we've had 2 championship parades for the women's national team, and now we've had a parade for the Liberty and a parade for Gotham FC here in New York City. So it's a testament to women's sports. It's a testament to people investing in women's sports, the great ownership that took over here for Gotham FC, and it's a testament to New York City. So New York is a great sports town. We do have champions.
And I was gonna say, New Yorkers, we love to win. Right? We do.
Yes, and they love a winner. New Yorkers love a winner.
Do we have that piece of Tina's interview? We're trying to get to it? Okay, so I hear we're trying to get to it. And I want to hear it now, Tina, just because, like, you're talking it up. And like you said, it really points to highlighting women in sports, which, as you said, you've seen in your career sort of the progression and the ascension of that, right? Seeing it all come to play today live.
Yes, absolutely, Stephanie. You know, it's all about the WNBA was established right around the same time that the Women's Professional Soccer League was established. It had a different name then, and it was WPS, Women's Professional Soccer. So in 1996, that's when they initiated the WNBA in basketball. Their first year they played was in 1997. Right around the same time, WPS. In fact, Sky Blue FC, which is basically the Gotham FC franchise, did win the WPS championship. I think it was 2009. I don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But they did win the championship then. Less teams were obviously in the league at that time. But a lot of, they were playing in high school stadiums, small college stadiums, and now teams. So a great example, Kansas City Current, that is the women's soccer team in Kansas City.
Right.
They have their own stadium, Steph. Like just like there's a Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
and just like so at Madison Square Garden for the Knicks, the Kansas City Current have their own stadium. They don't share it with the MLS team. So Gotham FC right now playing where the New York Red Bulls play. Right now we have NYC FC, New York City FC, building their own stadium as well. They were currently playing at Yankee Stadium, part of their ownership group. But to see that, we're going to see that more now. We're going to see more teams. There's a team in Toronto coming next season. We're going to see more women's soccer teams having their absolute own venue, and that's just another testament to the growth. Just the broadcast coverage that we have of women's sports now. We've seen it with the whole story with the New York Liberty as well, and the WNBA, and the Caitlin Clark effect, and the Angel Reese effect, and it is trickling down to other women's sports as well. So, and really women's soccer though, a very loud voice behind a lot of this because they fought for equity in their sports. They wanted equal pay as the U.S. men's national soccer team. The men and women, the women were winning. The men were not. The women were filling stadiums across America for friendlies. And the U.S. men's team, I mean, they weren't winning though. And they fought for their equal pay. It was a long fight. It got down and dirty at times, but they won. And, and those women are playing professionally as well now.
I was just thinking, Tina, listening to you talk, I mean, you've covered sports for so long, so you've kind of seen what really is a cultural phenomenon because, you brought up Toronto. I grew up in Toronto. When I was a little girl, I mean, you didn't dream of being a professional athlete. So think about today, bringing this full circle. All the kids, a lot of kids are off school because it's Thanksgiving week. Like my son's out all week. I mean, it depends on the school. But they've been able to watch this on TV. They've been able to be maybe at the event as you were there today throughout the morning. And really, like, it's expanding the narrative and expanding the possibility of dreams. So really an amazing thing overall.
And what's so significant about that, whether it's little girls growing up in Toronto, being able to see a professional women's basketball team now in person, lined up right here on Broadway along this parade route, all young girls missing school, all young, and they might not play soccer. Some girls might play hockey or basketball, and they were all lined along the route, calling out their favorite players' names. To see that in person, to strive to play the game, to have dreams like that, it's very different. I mean, I grew up, at first maybe I wanted to be a figure skater, and then I was dancer, maybe I wanted to be a rockette, because my family, I mean, there were women's sports, obviously, but my family wasn't necessarily pushing me towards basketball or softball or soccer at the time. So I just love how things have changed for women, young girls. The world is their oyster. They have so much to choose from. There's so many opportunities to play sports. And we have a women's professional hockey team here as well in the New York Sirens. And they actually play in New Jersey. So I have a story with them in a couple weeks.
I love that.
So any little girl could be whatever she wants to be in sports.
Tina, thank you so much.
Stephanie, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we're going to try to get to that interview later on Newsroom Live. We're trying to turn it around here. This is the behind the scenes of what we do. But Tina, we appreciate you. We adore you. Thank you so much for the coverage and the context.
And I will bring you home some confetti, Stephanie.
All right, perfect. Can we get one more flick? Because now I can hear you. I got to experience the whole thing. Let me see that. All right.
Okay.
Tina's coming up with the confetti.
I know there's some leaves stuck in it.
The beauty of video reporting here on Fox 5. Thanks, Tina. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'm sure you're busy.
Thanks, Steph.
Bye. We're going to take a break, okay? We'll be right back on Newsroom Live. This is Newsroom Live. I'm Stephanie Bertini. It's 1:18 in the afternoon, and you're with us here live in the Fox 5 Newsroom. You know who's with me? Antoine Lewis, our reporter. Hey, Antoine.
How were you, Stephanie?
Good. How was the weekend?
Too short.
Too short. I was here, so I think mine was shorter than yours.
Probably.
You're working for the noon, and now you're going to be working later, I think, switching assignments. But for the noon, you're keeping an eye on Mayor-elect.
Yep. Also, the other story that we're talking about that you've been keeping your eye on, also the fire.
Yeah, the big fire in Mount
Vernon.
Vernon.
In Mount Vernon. I know you're standing by that, so let me get to what's going on with the mayor-elect, because I don't know if you heard, but he had a meeting Friday with the President of the United States.
Who hasn't heard?
So a lot has been made of that meeting, as you know, because of all of the comments back and forth, the trading of the barbs, et cetera, et cetera. But anyone looking for drama Friday, it was hard to be found. You are still looking. It was nothing but complimentary handshakes, things like that, once the mayor-elect went into the news conference. So just to tell you a little bit about what the video was going on, and Eric can just keep it rolling. This was part of Mamdani's visits yesterday. He was actually at a church in the Bronx. He went to services there. He was still taking questions about Friday's meeting with the president, which again, they were both saying that it was nothing but cordial. It was nothing but insightful. And the two have had a certainly interesting lead up to this meeting on the campaign trail. The president, the White House repeatedly attacked Mamdani, calling him a communist. He's not, he's a democratic socialist. Mamdani referring to the president as a fascist. He stood by those comments, but nonetheless, here's what Mamdani had to say about that meeting and how it went on Friday.
I'm confident that we're establishing a productive relationship. I think it was New Yorkers that won in this conversation.
So now you're seeing National Guard's troops, because this also came up as part of the discussions. As you know, the president has talked about, made threats, if you will, about sending them to this city as he's done in other places. So that also came up, and both sides, the president and the mayor-elect, actually responding to that. Listen to this.
Just needed more, but if they need it, I would do it.
I made it very clear what we wanted to do was to deliver public safety and affordability, and the NYPD would be the ones to do so.
And there you have it. So it sounds like where they, as we've gleaned, they met in the middle, both being New Yorkers, both being from Queens, that seemed to come in. But no, anybody that was looking or anticipating drama and name calling, perhaps, you know, any sort of
no, that didn't happen.
Not at all.
You know, so we've been obviously covering this collectively as a news team. So I think we were all surprised as to how the tone of the meeting. Yeah, surprised, shocked. I was at that presser yesterday with Mamdani, and that was kind of one of the main threads. Like, I even asked him, I said, so were you surprised about how it went? That was like the first piece of the sound that you used there in the noon.
Right,
and you heard him say he was appreciative of the tone. And I think the one thing that we want to highlight, I mean, when it comes through the scope of New York City, we want our mayor to, you know, be able to get along.
Have a working relationship
of course.
with the White House, because
That's
it impacts so many.
Yorkers.
It's the biggest city, you know, in the country we are. But let me switch roles for a minute. When you were interviewing the mayor-elect yesterday, how was his energy? I mean, did it seem like he was still, if I could use this, riding a high from how well things went on Friday? Did you notice that at all?
Yeah, I think he seemed very engaged, very energetic. You know, he was in the church, he came out, he took questions from the press, we all got our questions in. There was a couple other newsier topics, but the overall thing was, you know, you just got back from the White House, you just got back from meeting with the president, so, you know, what are your thoughts? You know, Antoine, it's not a local story. Everybody was looking at the White House on Friday.
Yes.
And I think it's interesting watching Mamdani throughout his campaign. Now he's the mayor-elect, keeping eyes as he transitions soon enough. When this all started, nobody knew him.
No.
And he touched on that yesterday. You know what he said? He said that he told the president that what he was doing on the campaign trail picked up after President Trump was voted in. And he found a common base, this is what he told us, the media, with the president saying, you know, President, I think it was, he said 1 in 10 of the people who voted for you in New York City voted for us, are with us. And what does it come down to? The affordability piece.
Absolutely.
The affordability piece. And that's something that we know it was central to his campaign, to his election. He's made a lot of promises. And we heard the president say on Friday that he's going to back them in the quest to make New York City more affordable. And we're both on the streets.
Yep.
I haven't talked to one New Yorker that doesn't want to see that.
I'm telling you. And also the White House just to add to that, a couple of weeks ago came out ready to further address affordability because of just how important it is, not just in New York, not just in the Tri-State, but to your point, all around the country, in regards to that. But no, let me ask you this. Were you surprised? I know you've covered him from afar, but that news conference yesterday, you all were like really up close on him. His energy, were you surprised at how he came across? Because a lot of people are expecting one thing based upon that. Then when they get in person, it's like, oh, okay, this, did you have any moment of that?
What I see from the mayor-elect, and I was talking to Teresa Priolo about this.
Our colleague.
Yeah, on Newsroom Live on Friday. In the evening, I was here hosting Newsroom Live, and what I saw in that video and then what I saw in person on Sunday from the mayor-elect is a lot of leadership. There's been talk about how he's just very young. I mean, when he was on the campaign trail, that was the main thing that people were comparing him to former Governor Cuomo, and it was like, at least Cuomo has the experience. I mean, that's a narrative that we heard.
Right.
But I was very surprised, I guess for lack of better words, by the leadership and by the energy. I gotta tell you, yesterday for a Sunday morning, coming out of church, I mean, very engaged, and he does definitely exude that unity, diversity. I think he's touching the tone of what New York City is. That's why from afar, growing up in Canada, I loved New York City for its diversity.
The melting pot.
Yeah.
New York has always been the melting pot.
I do think he gets that, he appreciates that, he represents that, and I think that's great for New York City. But we'll have to see, what happens as he steps in. At the end of the day, this is politics. There's a bunch of promises. We want to see what happens. It's our responsibility as journalists to cover it.
And both sides need the other.
100%.
The White House absolutely has to have a working relationship with New York City, period, in the discussion, and vice versa. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And, it's our responsibility as the media to, hold them to it, hold the powerful accountable 100%. And that's what we're going to do. But it's always great, even as media, to have a cordial relationship with your mayor. I mean, you want him to answer your questions, so to speak, as a reporter. I mean, I said, can I get one in? And they gave it to me. I was happy.
There are some right now in office that may not share that view
and
when it comes to us, but
bringing our viewers, our listeners here on the live stream, kind of behind the scenes to what we do, the level of frustration, like we're out there trying to get the information for the people we serve, the public. And when you get an official or a high up in law enforcement upper brass, like they don't want to take the questions, like we get upset. We're trying to do our job.
Still have to ask,
so definitely yesterday, that it was the total opposite of that. I mean, he talked to all the media. He was very open, and I think that's a good thing for what we do as well.
And we also know this was before you got here, but with de Blasio, there was the same high energy going on. He came off of a campaign where he also was basically in the middle, if you will, of all of the candidates, and then he sprang forth thanks to what some say was some very clever, political ads involving his son, his kids and things like that. So I say that to say just to talk about the energy levels going in, and then eventually, things kind of, like taper off once they get settled in and stuff like that. So it's not uncommon, when you have a newly elected official, particularly a mayor, to have that sort of, okay, let's go, let's see how this is going to go. And then, you get into office and you find out, okay, maybe it's not as easy to make grocery stores public or, free buses. May sound good in theory, but let's see how this is going to work with the MTA. So a lot of that is going in. But the main thing is that he's checked that big box off by having had the conversation with the president, so that's done. Now he can just get on to the business of making sure New York continues to be up and running in the biggest city, safest city in the world.
Something that came up, and I think it's interesting because the mayor-elect was very focused on that, it was a good meeting and we're going to work together on affordability. That was the central message coming from him. But something that came up in the presser yesterday, and that I think a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye on is how's this going to work when it comes to the immigration piece. As you know, I've covered it extensively.
Oh, you have.
But the mayor's administration has been clear that he's about New York City, and he keeps saying that I'm about New Yorkers. And what is New York City? New York City is diverse.
Right.
It's a city that was built. The history of New York City
it's a sanctuary
includes
city.
Immigration, sanctuary city. Now, the president's administration has stood behind this idea. They came into office with we are going to now unravel mass deportations, largest in history. I mean, we heard it again and again. So it seems that ideologically, that's one example. They are politically different.
Opposites,
right?
yeah,
on this
issue.
topic and
Yep.
others. So I think people want to see, to your point, I mean, they're all playing nice, but how are these real things going to unfold when Mandani is actually, in office
in January.
So we'll have to see. We'll have to see on top of all this. Antoine Lewis, so I think they're switching you. Are you going to that fire?
Going to the fire,
Yeah.
which I know you and Eric have been keeping your eye on up there.
We're
but,
expecting a press conference.
Yeah, it's right there. Thank you, Eric. Apparently, it was
There
a
it
5-alarm fire in Mount Vernon that happened, and the Red Cross is now activating. And Ms. Cheatham, what do we have, like over 100?
Displaced.
More than 100 people displaced. That's Deborah Cheatham, our managing editor, filling me in because I'm about to head there now. So there were some injuries to some home people, residents. A couple of firefighters also suffered non-threatening injuries from what I was able to read as well. 2 women were rescued, taken to Jacoby Medical Center where they are expected to recover. And it was 5 firefighters actually who received minor injuries, with more than 100 people, as Ms. Cheatham said, passed on to us, have been displaced.
Right.
And again, temperatures dropping, so it was cold.
It's not the
This
best time
happened,
of year for this to
like,
happen.
and then we're like, 3 days away from the holidays.
Yeah,
so
the Red Cross is going to be
yeah,
stepping in.
a lot of families going to be
displaced
impacted
families.
by this.
I mean, you
so.
always think, I mean, you've covered these fires around the holidays. It's just, it's the worst timing, because no matter how much help you get, we know, especially in these economic times, you always take a financial hit when you're displaced from your home, even if Red Cross is helping out, families helping out.
Or churches or any
Yeah,
other charity
it's
group
just
that
not
wants to
ideal.
step in and lend a hand. So
Yeah.
hopefully, we know that news conference we're keeping our eye on is about to start, where they're going to give us the latest update. But yeah, this
All
was
right.
a hard. Oh, good grief! I hadn't seen this image.
Yeah,
so
there's that aerial view.
yeah. So
You're gonna head out
yeah, I'm
and
headed
gather
there
on
now,
this.
and I'll bring
update.
everybody up to speed in our evening newscast. But yeah, it was 5 alarms and more than 100 people displaced and 5 firefighters receiving minor injuries. So.
Antoine Lewis about to hit the bricks for us. Thank you so much for being here. Hit the bricks. There you go. that's an old school. See, I'm dating us.
Exactly. And if I don't see you before Thursday, you and your son and your family have a good holiday. All
You
right?
too, Antoine. Happy
right.
Thanksgiving.
And
All right.
you too as well.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Welcome back. This is Newsroom Live. A massive fire broke out yesterday. It was in Mount Vernon. About 100 people displaced now. This is a major headline that we've been following here in our newsroom and our news team. Our Meredith Gorman was on this yesterday. Antoine Lewis heading out to gather now as we have an update. We are live with a press conference from officials about this. Again, 100 people displaced so close to Thanksgiving. This is a big headline locally for us, and we're staying on top of it. Let's get to that press conference.
We thank you for all of the churches, the organizations, the neighborhood associations, and the businesses who literally at 6:30 came together before going to church and while they were opening their restaurants and their bodegas and stores to help us pull together food to feed over 125 to 150 people with no notice or preparation. The buildings department is preparing an official letter declaring the structure not habitable for the foreseeable future. That is very important because that will allow the families and the Red Cross and different agencies to provide a different level of support. This is not something that they can return to their apartments in the next week or so. We don't see that happening, like I said, for the foreseeable future. We want to thank some of our top tier. There are too many to mention, but we want to just thank some of our larger organizations right now that are helping us to plan as we walk through this crisis, our response day to day for the next week and then for the next foreseeable future, the next month. The American Red Cross, of course, who's been here, boots on the ground since about 5:30 yesterday morning, if not before. We want to thank the school district and our Dr. Strickland and our Board of Trustees who without any hesitation and delay gave us access to this incredible school. This is a school that my daughter went to K-6 in, so I know this school back and forth. It is a school that was closed in June and that was devastating to our community, but it is serving right now as a kind of ground zero, a safe haven, and a place that provides so much space that these families who are displaced have a place to be served and to sleep with dignity. You know, oftentimes when you stand up an emergency shelter, people are on top of each other, but we are using about 7 spaces where, you know, people are able to have different places to sleep. We even have a specialized area for our displaced residents who have pets. You know, we have cats here, we have dogs, we have bunny rabbits, we have a few other things that are going, birds, turtles, you know. So we're taking care of our furry and our scaly friends. You know, for all of our animal lovers. I mean, look, even Petco, Councilwoman-elect Cynthia Turnquest Jones is an animal lover, and she literally ran to Petco yesterday, and they were like, here, we're going to take care of the animals. We want to thank the United Way, the Sharing Shelf, 914 Cares, our faith-based organizations, our United Black Clergy, our synagogues, our Catholic churches, our businesses throughout Mount Vernon, our real estate community, even our development community. They are writing checks and helping sure that we are building a fund that is going to be able to help the families at the level that they're going to need it over the next few months. Our local businesses, our government partners from city, county. We have our County Executive Ken Jenkins will be represented here today. We have our state electeds who are represented, our federal electeds who are reaching out and asking what the families need. And I spoke to our governor somewhere around 12:15 today. She gave me a call. She tried to reach me yesterday, but I was spinning and I didn't even have a moment to stop and talk to the governor, but she reached out again this morning. The state and the county sent down resources yesterday to help us along the way. So people are asking right now where they can donate. And so if you want to donate monetary donations, donations are being accepted through Friends of MVARYP. Friends of MVARYP. That's Friends of Mount Vernon Arts, Recreation, and Youth Programs. That is our not-for-profit organization that we stand up through our Department of Recreation and does a lot of our response and provides the space, the shelter, the food. And we know people like a not-for-profit organization when they're donating so they could write it off on their taxes. You can also write checks to that, but you can also, if you want to do it digitally, they have a Zelle, And so the Zelle is a accounting at friendsofmountvernon spelled out .org. So the Zelle for that account is accounting@friendsofmountvernon.org. Clothing donations are being accepted at the Dole Center. It allows us to begin to sort through and categorize things, because the amount of things that are coming in are tremendous, and we don't want to kind of clutter up the school with all of these amazing donations. We want to have a separate center where these donations can be dropped off, and we can mobilize volunteers who are able to sort it, and then we transport it over here, and we've set up kind of a separate space here where the families can go out and pick out what they need. Clearly, donations of clothing, new and used, are not going to get the families everything that they need, like underwear. Who wants anyone to, even if you buy it new, to pick out, if you like Hanes, you like Hanes, if you like Fruit of the Loom, you like Fruit of the Loom, but people want to be able to pick out their own underwear. And so we're asking people also, if you want to know how to help, then you can buy gift cards in $25, $50, $100 denominations. We are giving those to the family. We are tracking what we're giving out. You can buy them for stores. We've had ones come in for Target, Marshalls, Burlington. We know those places have clothes and a lot of different things. People can buy Visa and MasterCard and American Express gift cards. And we are working with Target. Their government affairs office reached out to us and said that they wanted to help. And I'm going to say this because this might be a little controversial for some of my black and brown people. They say, well, isn't there a blackout with Target? Well, look, right now I have little children who need shoes and socks and underwear because they want to go to school. I have people who are surviving cancer who need some of the basic necessities, right? And I'm a social justice warrior, but I'm also a mother. I'm a daughter. And I'm a social worker, and I understand that some people have immediate needs. And so I'm not compromising anything, but I'm saying if someone wants to step forward and help, we're not going to refuse their support. Mount Vernon is the blackest and brownest community north of the Mason-Dixon line. And, I want to thank Target, which is a local business, for stepping up and being so willing to go above and beyond and help. And so I just felt like I needed to say that because a few people have said, Target? Yes, Target. They want to step up, they can help. If you want to know other information and you have questions as to what you can do and how you can be involved and you want to contact us, you can email us cityhelp, CITYHELP, @mountvernonny.gov. We have about 6, and we'll probably ramp that up to about 10 people that are reviewing that email account. And I can tell you I was emailing people back and texting people up until 1:36 this morning and started again at about 3:30 something this morning. And so we are responsive. Again, food and meals. So the city is coordinating meals right now for this week. So we have a whole nutrition team at the Dole Center, and then led by Sade Ritter, and then our director of the Office of the Aging, Vanessa Cowens, is assisting Sade in that. And so you could also contact us at City Help, and we will put you together. We have lunch and dinner taken care of for today. We have dinner taken care of for tomorrow. We have breakfast from a few of our local businesses taken care of for tomorrow as well. We could use lunch help for tomorrow, and anyone, organizations. Look, we need trays of food, so kind of, just bringing over a dinner or a plate isn't the easiest way to organize this. So if there are restaurants out there, or if there are organizations who, and if you cook well, really, we want to make sure the food is good and that it has been prepared in a healthy manner, right? So we are careful about how we're accepting perishable items, and cooked food, because we want to make sure that we keep everyone healthy. But we are coordinating those meals. First Presbyterian Church was literally right next to where we're standing here as the shelter, has a huge kind of common area that we'll also be standing up some meals over there, and they have a commercial kitchen, and so we want to thank them right next door to us for providing that space. If there are food trucks that kind of want to help, if you want to donate, if someone wants to sponsor a food truck to kind of help do some things, please also contact City Help at Mount Vernon, spelled out ny.gov. We want to thank, Cookmaster is over there right now, grilling chicken today, and I think tomorrow he'll be grilling chicken and brisket, some string beans and good old potatoes, and so thank you for stepping up and helping. I just want everyone to know that the City of Mount Vernon and all of our community partners, we want to just reaffirm our commitment.
So that's a bit of a live press conference happening now. Mount Vernon, a pretty aggressive fire. We covered it yesterday, overnight, early Sunday morning. Look at the flames. Over 100 people displaced. That's the information that we have. Red Cross, other community organizations stepping in now to help the families. It's just days before Thanksgiving. Really, Thanksgiving is that beginning of the holiday season. So, not the best time. We heard officials there in Mount Vernon talking about how people can help with donations and other things, again, because the timing is not ideal. And also, of course, at this time of year with the weather and the elements, people need a roof over their head. So in these situations, normally, family, friends can step in to help. We don't know these people's different situations at home. The Red Cross, though, is helping now as the blaze just happened. Typically that help, though, it's for just a limited amount of days, and then that help starts to end. So to round it out, we're hearing officials say, look, this is how you can help people. So we're on that headline as we continue to cover it throughout the afternoon. Antoine Lewis assigned to this story. If you were with us a little earlier, you might have heard that. If you stay with us, you'll get some details on your weather and a couple more headlines. This is Newsroom Live. I'm Stephanie Bertini. It's 1:45. Let's take a quick break. This is Newsroom Live. I'm Stephanie Bertini. I have Audrey Puente here. We're going to talk weather soon. But first I want to talk. There you go. Of course, that's why you're here. You're the expert. First, though, we want to talk travel because you know what? It's that time. It's the very, very, very busy holiday travel season underway now, basically just days before Thanksgiving. The FAA says it's preparing for its busiest Thanksgiving week in 15 years. According to AAA, 6 million travelers expected to take domestic flights over the holiday weekend. So, yeah, the airports will be a mess in the Tri-State and across the nation. That's a 2% increase compared to last year. So travel up, according to these numbers. And the Sunday after Thanksgiving is projected to be the busiest day to fly. So, Audrey, obviously, a lot of people already have their plans made, but just, you know, with those, with that information plan to get to the airport extra early, all the stuff you got to do. And then there's people that take those road trips.
Right, be driving, which I think there's more people driving than flying. Am I wrong? I think I heard that somewhere.
You might have heard that, and that's why the weather is so important, because if you're hitting the road, you want to know what's going on with the weather.
Well, I know I've been asked when's the best day to travel, for sure. My pick is actually almost any day this week other than Tuesday afternoon. I think that's when we're going to see our worst weather. That's why I have a window of between, let's say, 2 and 10 p.m. on Tuesday. That's when we're going to get wet weather coming through here.
Wet weather. I was like, what are we talking about with worth? We're not talking snow. It's way too early.
Right. Well, the good news is we're actually going to see a warm up over the next couple of days. We're going to be close to 60 by Wednesday. Is it November?
Yes.
Yes.
It is. So I don't know what's going on. And a lot of people want to know about Thursday for the Macy's Day Parade. So I'll let you get into your parade. But people want to know, what do we put on the kids?
I would definitely be bundled up because even though we're going to get a little bit milder, we can look at the 7-day. Here it is. I said 60s by Wednesday, but then check out what happens on Thursday. Thursday, the bottom drops out. We drop back to 45 for a high, but it's going to be very windy that day. And I know that's also something they're paying attention to with the parade and the balloons being flown.
Because the wind is the issue. That's the one reason they could, in theory, cancel if it's way too windy as a factor. I'm saying.
Which I also heard they've never actually canceled for weather.
I heard that fact last year when I was covering it. Yeah.
However, as we know in the past, there have been injuries with balloons hitting a lamppost, that kind of thing. So that it is a major concern. The winds are going to be below the criteria for bringing the balloons down, so that's good news. However, if you're going to be a spectator out there, you definitely want to be bundled up because it's going to be really cold. Wind chills will likely be in the the 20s and 30s throughout the parade. So, and it's in the morning, so likely the 20s, close to about the freezing mark. So definitely,
cold.
Yeah, so bundle up.
That feels like cold.
The good news is it's sunny, so I would get a spot on the sunny side of the street if you're getting out there for sure, because that's where you want to be to get just a little bit of warmth.
Well, that can help out, especially when it's cold if you have the sun and your butt layered.
Anyone's traveling, again, I think roads should be just fine. Air travel is a whole different story because although I don't expect delays here, it depends on where the planes are coming from and other places across the country. But we look good for Thursday all the way through Sunday. So anyone that's driving anywhere for those 4 days, you should be just fine.
Well, thank you for the forecast. And since you're here, let's take a look at the ball because we also care about the weather. We're talking holidays, we're talking weather. So let's just get
now
to
you ask me for New Year's? I mean, we're going a little too far now.
She can't forecast that yet, but let's take a look at the ball because the new ball that will drop for New Year's Eve, it was unveiled to the public today. What a beauty. One Times Square unveiling the brand new Times Square New Year's Eve ball. This morning, our camera was there getting us this video. There was a special ceremony to mark the ascent of the ball. It goes up a 139-foot pole, Audrey, and then of course it'll drop on New Year's Eve. This is a really special day every year when we get to see the new ball. There have been at this point 9 variations of the ball. The ball drop tradition, it began in 1907, and I gotta tell you, this is still, as a relatively new New Yorker, you know, Audrey, I've been here just under 4 years, my favorite thing about New York City, that ball drop New Year's Eve.
I saw you last year.
Did you?
You did an amazing job. I came and I told you.
Thank you. You did tell me I did an amazing job.
Yeah, you were live
Thank you for
hours.
the support, Audrey.
You did a great. I thought you did a great job. I was watching from home. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be in New York for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So closer to the day, we're going to want to know not only the media, but we need to know because we need to know what to wear when we're out there for hours and hours doing live shots. But
I have a tip.
People are going to. What do you have?
Okay, I have 2 areas that you can go to if you don't want to be in Times
This
Square.
is why we need Audrey on Newsroom Live.
Everyone's listening on the side here. Okay, one is Bryant Park. People don't know about Bryant Park.
I didn't know
Actually,
about Bryant
some
Park.
people do know about Bryant because I've seen them out there. Yes, if you go on 6th Avenue on the west side of Bryant Park, you have a direct line diagonally this way
and
to
you
the
can
ball.
see it.
Yes, you can see the ball. Yes, look at like
look.
Yes, approach it. Now
And?
the other one is Central Park. Now it's a ways distance, but if you go on the north side of Sheep Meadow, you can actually see the ball.
Really?
It's way out there though. But a lot of people are in Central Park at midnight. I would be one of them. I've been there before because
beautiful.
The Roadrunners have their midnight run at midnight.
Oh.
And so the race starts at midnight with a huge fireworks
So it's like a
show.
2-for-1?
Yes.
You could see the ball, you could do the event.
And there are thousands of people there in Central Park at midnight. Thousands.
So
not just running, but I mean hanging out. It's really festive.
So your tips as a local New Yorker might go viral because tourists and locals, if you've done it once, I know it's one thing to cover it as the media, but to be in the crowd, it's hard. You got to go there early in the morning.
I'm not down
You're
with that.
outside. Yeah, we're not.
No, it's almost easier as in the media because I did that for 2000. I was in there, and we have a we have a bathroom.
It's different. We're different. Yeah,
it's a different breed. Yes.
Yeah.
But for anyone who's coming from out of town, whether you're in town or out of town, those are my two like locales. You won't be penned in like you would be in Times Square.
Yeah.
Listen, there's an excitement there too. I'm not just totally discouraging you from going there if you've never done it, but that's probably a one and done for me. And those other spots way easier. And you're not, again, people are spread out. You can definitely see things.
Thanks for the tips and thanks for being here, Audrey. And I gotta tell you, before we take a break, can you believe it's the end of the year?
No,
that went by like this.
It's just January. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's like something trending on social media. People are like, I can't believe the year's over. Like the quickest year. I mean, it was a quick year.
Yeah. I mean, from September to now is just like a blink of an eye.
Although, I mean, when you're a mom and the older
like
you get, I
school
feel like it goes quicker and quicker. It just
school started and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what? It's Thanksgiving
boom, boom,
already?
boom. Buy your Christmas presents, buy your holiday presents, get ready to celebrate. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks, Audrey.
You're welcome.
Welcome back. It's 1:56 in the afternoon. I'm Stephanie Bertini in the Fox 5 newsroom, our headquarters here on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. A press conference just wrapped up where people are rallying because they're saying that we need better public restrooms in New York City parks specifically. You're taking a look now, a video from that press conference. New Yorkers for Parks. Let's take a listen.
For a 1% budget, but we know that that's not enough. Our expectations are higher now, and through this hearing, we will learn about why in this moment it is absolutely urgent that our city invest in working water fountains and bathrooms. We need a capital plan that is analyzing our city's bathrooms, and a capital plan that is investing millions and millions in the construction that is needed. We need parks staff.
So yeah, that wrapped up just a short while ago, but a lot of people, New Yorkers, are going to have opinions about that. We know that for sure. We had Tina Servasio here off the top when we started Newsroom Live at 1 o'clock this afternoon. She was talking about the interview that she had with Gotham FC captain Mandy Freeman. We want to get to that interview now. We got the video.
Joined now by Mandy Freeman, captain of Gotham FC and an NWSL champion. Mandy, what are the emotions still going on right now?
Just full of gratitude. This is super overwhelming experience. I mean, this whole journey has been a roller coaster ride of emotions. And yeah, just truly grateful to be here with the fans and cheering us on. And I think that this was like the icing on the cake of the season.
You know, I've been talking about your story all day long, really since you captured the NWSL Cup on Saturday. For you to look back at 2023 when you weren't rostered at the time, yet you're one of the longest tenured members of this franchise. What was the moment like? Can you describe when the game went to 0-0 and you knew that you were a champion and you were part of such a great team?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to even put into words. The 2023 season, that final was really emotional. I think as everyone can see in some of the videos. But being able to be a part of it this year and wearing the captain's band, which is such an honor and a privilege on any occasion, but especially for the final, was just an amazing experience. I love this team, I love this city, and yeah, to be able to bring back the win was a great job.
And then there you were, front and center on the top.
All right, here at Newsroom Live, Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani speaking right now at a press conference. We want to get to that right away. Can we roll that live?
Lives of working people across these 5 boroughs. And standing in that room, I felt the same thing from those leaders that I feel when I think about the years to come.